बेहतरीन बेहतरीन।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैम, अल्लाह का शुक्र है जी, आप ठीक ठाक हैं सब?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
माशाल्लाह।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
सर
सर।
सर अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
माशाल्लाह मुजाहिद।
वालेकुम
अस्सलाम
सर।
वालेकुम सर, क्या हाल है आपका?
हाँ जी, माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
सरगोदा
सर।
वालों, और सरगोदा वालों, मुझे कल फोन आया था सरगोदा यूनिवर्सिटी से।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
माशाल्लाह सर।
वो कह रहे थे कि आप आए अगली जुमेरात को। मैंने कहा अच्छा, 18 तारीख को। लेट्स सी।
माशाल्लाह।
हाँ जी,
बहुत
आयशा
अच्छा है सर,
साहब।
मुलाकात होगी।
जी तारिक साहब। हाँ जी, गयूर
अस्सलाम
साहब।
वालेकुम सर।
हाँ जी, नबिया साहब।
वालेकुम सर।
नारायण साहब। सो मार्टिन, आर यू देयर मार्टिन? नॉट येट। अच्छा कि आप लोग टाइम पे आगे, ज़रा जज़ाकल्लाह। आपकी खैरियत भी पूछ लें सर। रुकैया सफदर साहबा, बाजवा साहब हैं माशाल्लाह।
सर हम लोग जल्दी आ गए कि फिर स्लॉट हो जाते हैं, फिर हमें
जी,
जगह नहीं मिलती।
आज वैसे बिकॉज असल में वो एहसन भट्ट साहब, आप भी साथ अपने डॉक्टर लगा दें अपना शिफ्ट।
सर पहले आके सबसे गपशप भी हो जाती है।
हाँ जी माशाल्लाह, इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर टॉकिंग जी माशाल्लाह में अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला।
सर हम अभी तक उससे फेज से निकल नहीं पा रहे हैं कि अब हम अभी तक उसी फेज में है कि हम अभी इंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को हमने ओढ़ना बिछौना बना लिया अपना।
हाँ जी, बस अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला इससे अगले चीज़ पर ले जाए। एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप
इंशाल्लाह।
जी, वो असल में आजकल हमारे पास आए हुए थे मियां आमिर महमूद साहब तशरीफ़ लाए थे, और अब डॉक्टर अब्दुल रहमान साहब सुपीरियर के चेयरमैन हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा यार एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी ज़्यादा ना करना, मारे जाओगे। और मतलब आप अच्छा इंसान बनो पहले। अच्छा इंसान नहीं बनोगे, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करोगे, फिर क्या करोगे? फिर वही को भी गड़बड़ करोगे। तो हमें सोशल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से पहले वी नीड टू बी ग्रेट ह्यूमन बीइंग। अच्छा
इंशाल्लाह।
इंसान। जी, तो वो इसलिए क्योंकि वो तड़का किसी चीज़ का भी ज़्यादा लग, किसी चीज़ का भी तड़का ज़्यादा लग जाए तो वो खत्म होती है।
सर अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
हाँ जी, वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
आई
सर जी
होप
कब आ रहे हैं सरगोदा?
ये आपके इनने बुलाया था, देखें अभी वो दोबारा पे गायब हो गए। आज उसने कहा था मैं बताऊंगा। कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही है आपकी ना जी, कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही है
जी
यहाँ
सर,
पे।
रिसर्च एरिना स्टार्ट हो रहा है
हाँ जी, तो वो
वो।
जी जी,
अच्छा।
तो अब अगर तो कोई मीनिंगफुल हो तो अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला हमें कबूल फरमा ले। हाँ जी,
आमीन सुम आमीन।
ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हमारी लाइफ मीनिंगफुल हो। आज भी ये इंशाल्लाह ये मार्टिन से आप सुनेंगे ना। है तो
जी
गोरा।
जी।
हाँ जी, ये जो आपने डेफिनेशन पढ़ी है ना, सो इसको मानते नहीं है ये सोशल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की डेफिनेशन को। आप इसकी डेफिनेशन देखिएगा क्या है, आप परेशान हो जाएंगे।
सही है।
हाँ जी, क्या आपने 2 महीने में ये डेफिनेशन नहीं पढ़ी होगी जो इसने बताना है आज, होपफुली।
सही है इंशाल्लाह।
जी जी माशाल्लाह। हमारे आज काफ़ी सारे लोग आएंगे गिफ्ट यूनिवर्सिटी से। वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग लॉट ऑफ पीपल टुडे। तो मैमूना हकीम साहबा वेलकम जी। उमर फारूक साहब वेलकम। अमार साहब अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम सर।
ये अमार साहब मेरे मावन खसूसी हैं गिफ्ट यूनिवर्सिटी में, और ये हेल्प करते हैं। कराची में भी मेरे साथ थे। और ये कोटद्दू में नौशीन रज़ा साहबा सोशोलॉजी, इनके साथ हम मिलकर काम करेंगे कराची में इंशाल्लाह। वी विल बी एक्सप्लोरिंग कि कैसे हम सोशोलॉजी और कराची यूनिवर्सिटी के बच्चों को कैसे इनके साथ काम किया जाए।
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
कैसे हैं सर, खैरियत से हैं?
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। उसको
अस्सलाम वालेकुम डॉक्टर साहब, डॉक्टर गुलाम जान यार,
वालेकुम सर।
कैसे हो सर? आप खैरियत से
ओ
हो?
गुलाम जान साहब माशाल्लाह। ये गुलाम जान साहब का तारुफ होना चाहिए। ये तुर्बत से हैं, तुर्बत से। और ये AIT बैंकॉक से इन्होंने पढ़ा हुआ है, और ही इज़ फ्रॉम AIT बैंकॉक। और PhD कहाँ से की थी आपने डॉक्टर साहब?
सर मेरी पीएचडी यूनिवर्सिटी साइंस मलेशिया से है।
हाँ जी, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साइंस मलेशिया से इन्होंने PhD की। और आप ये तुर्बत में क्या कर रहे हैं सर?
सर तुर्बत में मैं हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट मैनेजमेंट साइंसेज, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर। एंड 13-14 साल से मैं एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पढ़ा रहा हूँ, नॉट ओनली एट यूनिवर्सिटी बट इन डिफरेंट कॉलेजेस ऑफ मक्कुरान एंड ऑल्सो इन स्कूल्स वॉलंटियर बेस पे मैं स्कूल्स में भी पढ़ाता हूँ और कॉलेजेस में भी पढ़ाता हूँ, बट आई एम सर्विंग एज असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर एंड हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट एट यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ तुर्बत।
ओके, वंडरफुल वंडरफुल। तो जनाब, ये आई हैव बीन टू तुर्बत, और जो नकीब साहब, दुर्दाना साहब, ये जो तुर्बत के जो है ना, इस वर्थ विजिटिंग एक्चुअली। और तुर्बत के लोग माशाल्लाह बड़े पढ़े लिखे हैं, बड़े दे आर मोटिवेटेड, एंड आई थिंक द लिटरेसी रेट इज वेरी हाई इन दैट पार्ट ऑफ बलूचिस्तान। एंड दे
वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। नकीब साहब, जहाँ
कैसे हैं
में
सर?
अहले ईमान सूरत खुर्शीद जीते हैं, जहाँ में अहले ईमान सूरत खुर्शीद जीते हैं, इधर
वाह,
डूबे उधर निकले, उधर निकले इधर डूबे।
वाह
बस
माशाल्लाह।
आपकी
ये जो
मोहब्बत।
हमारे ये दस्तगीर साहब का नाम ग्राहम है सर? डॉक्टर साहब, आपका नाम ग्राहम है? इस पर रोशनी डालेंगे थोड़ा सा, ग्राहम कहाँ से लफ्ज आया? ग्राहम बेल तो नहीं?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, असफंदिया खटक खैर।
खटक साहब माशाल्लाह, थोड़ा सा नाम बता देंगे नहीं, ताकि वो, वैसे तो आपकी आवाज
सर डॉक्टर गुलाम दस्तगीर गोरे बन गए हैं।
अच्छा
सर
जी।
वो टाइपो एरर है उनका, गुलाम की जगह ग्राहम लिख दिया है।
अच्छा जी, उस दिन भी ग्राहम
आप
लिखा हुआ
उनको
था।
आज से गोरा लिखा और बड़ा करें, गोरे
मैंने
साहब
कहा कि
बन
शायद
गए।
ग्राहम बेल से कोई ताल्लुक है यार, जिसने टेलीफोन बनाया था वो उस दिन भी ग्राहम लिखा हुआ था उन्होंने। मैंने कहा यार, ये समझ नहीं आ रही, ये ग्राहम क्यों आ गया है। जी, दस्तगीर साहब नाम ठीक करें सर।
गोरे को गोरे को इम्प्रेस करने के लिए लिखा है सर।
ओके।
सर वो
या
दस्तगीर
वही
है सर,
बात
कुछ भी कर
है
सकता है।
सर, वही बात है। वो
इंटरफेथ
कहते हैं
हार्मनी पे
हम
काम
दुआ
कर रहे हैं
लिखते
सर।
रहे, वो दगा पढ़ते रहे, एक नुक्ते ने महरम से मुजरिम बना दिया।
Oh, Martin, you are there. So Martin Lackéus is there. Good afternoon. It's good evening in Pakistan. Martin, sir, welcome. क्या तालियां बजाएं जरा।
Hello, my friend.
So Martin is an amazing guy. I've really cherished my days spent with him. So I will take few minutes. Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim, in the name of God Almighty. And so we'll be having our guest today, Martin. And Martin is from Sweden, and this is a place called Chalmers Institute of University of Technology. When I started my PhD, it was like 2004, 5, 6, and I was reading books. There was a person called Burton Clark. You know Burton Clark? Burton Clark, he wrote a book on entrepreneurial universities, and he did a study in 1998 of 5 entrepreneurial universities. So one of them is, the top one is Chalmers University of Technology, and University of Warwick, University of Twente, University of Strathclyde, and Joensuu. So Martin is from Chalmers, and this is the place where we went there, and he hosted me. So I will take 5 minutes to tell about you, Martin, okay? And then it'll be over to you. So Martin is here at Chalmers School of Entrepreneurship. Martin is a very interesting person. He does 3 things. Martin is a PhD. He is a practicing entrepreneur. Dr. Ahmed Muzdar, he's a practicing entrepreneur. He's a founder and CEO. He's a PhD professor, and he teaches in the primary school as well. नकीब साहब, ये प्राइमरी को भी पढ़ाते हैं, 3 काम करते हैं।
एक्सीलेंट सर, जबरदस्त।
So a few months ago, when I was in Denmark, Martin, without even knowing me, he invited me that, Dr. Shahid, please travel from Copenhagen. You take the train and come to my hometown. So I took the train and I reached Gothenburg, and Martin received me at the railway station. He took me to a sightseeing tour. We went to the church, the Chalmers Institute of Technology, the place where he works. And then he said, Dr. Shahid, I'm going to take you to my island. So this boat belongs to Martin. He put me, I had a life jacket. He put a life jacket on me. And then we sat in the boat, and it was raining, and he was driving the boat. So an entrepreneurship professor, he's doing everything himself. Ruqayya Saiba, he's doing everything. He's driving. He bought some food for me. He bought He bought some yogurt and some food and some fish. And we traveled for like half an hour. And then we reached, this is his son. And the name of what is the name of your son, Martin? I forgot.
Hugo.
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 So this is Martin's boat. So this is my luggage. And he took my luggage. He did not allow me to pick it up. He said, Shahid, don't do it. And when I went there, he was reading this book, deep work. Zan Sahib, are you there, Zan? Is Zan here somewhere? So when we went into the house, he had a house on the island. So Martin cooked food for me, and then he washed the utensils. And then he taught me how to wash the utensils. And I learned, so all this pavement has been made by Martin. He's a professor, he's a CEO, but he does this woodwork. Naqib Sahib, Dr. Naqib. So I will appreciate if maximum people can open their cameras so that Martin can see you. Martin, most of them are PhD professors. 50, 60 people are here, and they would like to, they're interested in teaching entrepreneurship. This is, so Martin that knows woodworking. Martin, these pavements have been made by Martin, and we ate some cherries on the way on the island. This is water treatment. He takes care of he's electrical engineer as well. He takes care. So, and this is, we went to the top, and then we had raised the flag. There was an old lady. So she was raising a flag. I was there. So this is a view of Martin's place. Martin's house is somewhere here, I think, Glabish, somewhere here, I think, if I'm correct. But we went there. We saw the island. He pumps water, and this water is brought into the top of the island where he filters it. He does reverse osmosis, if I remember. This is a reverse osmosis plant. And Martin Lackéus has his own application. He controls the water osmosis for the whole island. And so we cleaned the filter water there. This filter was dirty, and he cleaned it. And then eventually, very beautiful scenery, very beautiful. You can see the ducks. And then he gave me a boat ride, and we did some boat riding. And this is his neighbors. And then we ate some Pakistani paratha with eggs. And this was a great, you see a transport ship passing by. And so this is a typical breakfast, which Martin prepared for me. Yogurt and cheese and fruit and yogurt and coffee. What a beautiful time it was. And here you go. These are these boating places, and on the way back, he put my luggage and he dropped me at Gothenburg. So I spent 2 nights there, and we had a lot of conversation about social entrepreneurship, about how we shall teach our students, kids, and how to live a life of meaning and purpose. And I was astonished to listen from Martin. He said that his definition is, so we'd like to learn from him today, what is value adding things, what is value-based entrepreneurship, and how we can practice that. So on the way back, I took a flight from Gothenburg too. So that is a quick introduction. So once again, Martin is a engineer, he's a professor, he's a researcher, he has written many papers on entrepreneurship. He's passionate about teaching entrepreneurship. At the same time, he prepares curriculum for class 5 students. He takes care of his own island. He's an environmentalist, nature lover, and many more things. So over to, so in this group, we have people from whole of the country, Martin, all over the country. We have 4 provinces, 250 million population. So professors of engineering, chemistry, livestock, agriculture, sociology, psychology, and we have people from business management, computer science, social work, and we have Asfandyar. He is a differently abled person. We have mashallah, we have men and women, we have like young people, and we have a bit old people as well. So anything I left, sir? Any introduction I left? And we have many students from Gift University as well. We will have 65 people.
CSOs.
गिफ्ट वाले जरा अपने नाम के साथ गिफ्ट लगा देंगे. Can my friends from Gift University write GIFT in front of your name? So we have from Turbat, from Namal, from Peshawar, from Multan, from Sargodha. So it's a huge. Your message will be Lukman from Indonesia, brother Lukman from UK, at Warwick University. He's doing his PhD in social entrepreneurship, I remember. And so your message today, you are international. Martin, we have Shazia, and so my friends from Gift University, can you please write GIFT in front? So Martin, over to you, sir. And let me give you, Martin has access now to made a co-host. You are a co-host, Martin, and I will be making you pinning up, spotlighting for everyone. Where are you right now? At your home, at the city house, or in the island?
No, the island is closed because it's winter. It's too cold to be there. So the boat is on land, and so it shall not sink. And yeah, so I'm in the basement. This is my small writing retreat, you could say, when I cannot go to an island. I love writing, so yeah, I have to have places for that like that. But thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction, Shahid, and it could be the most personal introduction I've ever received. So thank you so much for that. It was a very special 3 days that we got in the summer. It's absolutely the highlight for me this year. Yeah, it left a mark, definitely, our meeting. So
I learned a lot.
Thank you very much for that.
Great.
And what an interesting audience to meet for me. You come from many different disciplines, and you are both professors, doctors, and students from a broad variety. So I love that. I think. When I was planning what to talk about, I was thinking that the pedagogical aspects of entrepreneurship is what I will focus on, and so I will also I will leave. I will use slides from a video series I did for the European Commission recently.
Okay.
So if you want to go back to something, you can go to these videos. Maybe they will disappear if we close the meeting, so maybe they can be, you can save them away, or maybe they can be sent out or something. But there, I haven't spread these videos so much, so this is a unique material.
You can share it with our team members, or you have already shared? Okay.
You can share it. Well, I shared it in the chat, so people can maybe you need to copy them in order to, because they will disappear when you leave the room.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So maybe yeah, or if somebody sends them out or something.
Okay, I will do that.
And I mean, so if I start sharing my screen a little bit here.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Yes. So the 4 videos are, these are the different topics that they are about. And the main theme is basically entrepreneurial pedagogy. What is entrepreneurial pedagogy? What problem is it a solution to? That's the first part. And then what do we mean by entrepreneurial? That's the second part. And in the third part, there is a deep dive on the work that I've been doing on a particular interpretation of entrepreneurship that is called value creation pedagogy. It is when we take away all the focus on business and making money, and look at the more, you can say, humanistic aspects of entrepreneurial. And then in the fourth video, it's a number of different models on how to do this in practice. I don't know if we will have time to go through all of this material here today. I think we should take advantage of us being here because the videos are out there. You can watch them. So maybe I would do it like this. I show you some slides. I present to you some ideas, and then we pause for a while, and I see what happens in the chat, and I pick up some threads from there.
Okay.
And then we continue. Well, what do you think about that, Shade? A bit more interactive
Yeah, exactly.
version of
So
it.
you want questions online, physically, verbally, or on the chat box?
I mean, either works, I think. If somebody wants to speak up orally, that's fine. If you want to write your a question or a reflection in the chat, that also works. So, I
Thank
mean,
you. So people can write the question in the chat box, and then we can
Yeah.
also give a verbal, oral opportunity towards the end, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. So I would like to start with basically this slide, and it basically shows you what can entrepreneurial pedagogy do to teaching, which is not in the area of business. I mean, imagine you are teaching, I don't know, chemistry or something completely different. What can this way of looking at teaching, at education do? And this slide is, I normally use this with primary school teachers or secondary school teachers, but I think it's equally applicable to university as well. Because if we have unmotivated students, if we have passive students, maybe even hostile or alienated students, can make our teaching come alive so that we can reach the heart of our students. That is something that this work can do. And that is a beautiful thing, I think. Entrepreneurship is a business practice, I mean, for what we know, but what entrepreneurs do can be emulated in all areas of life. And that is what my work has been about, to distill something out from entrepreneurship and apply it in education or maybe even in life. You could see this being entrepreneurial could be like a life philosophy, trying to create value for others. And so I've been writing for 15 years, Shade was at my island. I sit and write there. So there is a lot to read if you want to know more. I have written 2 books. They are both available in English at my blog, which is vcplist.com. So there you can read more. And these 2 books are for teachers, and not entrepreneurship teachers, not business teachers, but regular teachers in any subject on primary and secondary school level, but the ideas work equally well on a university level as well. So yeah, so this is the foundation for everything I will talk about. So I will jump a little bit, and I mean, what is here is a slide about, in Sweden we have a problem of 15% of the people of the young students who attend primary school, they are not allowed to continue to secondary school because they didn't reach the level that the system has put up. And this, of course, leads to health issues. It leads to a lot of problems in life for these people. And many of them think that school is not for them. They think it's like sitting in a damn shoebox, feels like a punishment, like a prison. It all feels so meaningless. And of course, education is far from meaningless. We know that. But for some people, it doesn't feel that way. So if we want to make it feel a bit more meaningful to learn, we have solutions to this. And I mean, I joke a bit with my when I speak to teachers and I ask them, can you tell the difference? Which is a hospital, which is a school, and which is a prison? And yeah, maybe it's difficult to tell. But the real question is this: what do we do with all students who feel that school is a prison and then they fail to establish themselves in working life or in life in general? That is a problem for us who are in an education system. And I also use a video clip from Harry Potter, and then Headmistress Umbridge says, "It is the view of the ministry that the theoretical knowledge will be sufficient to get you through your examinations, which after all is what school is all about." And then Harry Potter asks, "And how's theory supposed to prepare us for what's out there?" And then Mrs. Umbridge responds, "There's nothing out there, dear." And then she continues this very traditional teaching that then Harry Potter and his friends are maybe not so fond of, because they meet real wizards out there and they need to be able to manage them. And so this is another slide I often show. Why should we work with entrepreneurial pedagogy? Well, because entrepreneurial experiences are like rocket fuel for student motivation. When we let them create something of value to others, preferably novel, we tap into some of humanity's unique strengths. We are handy, we are social, and we are creative. And these are actually the skills that made us take over the world compared to all other species on Earth. We are more handy, we are more social, and we are more creative than any other species on Earth. So if we want to use that fact, we could use entrepreneurial pedagogy to leverage these skills that we have as humans. When we work in an entrepreneurial way in education, this is impact research we have done over the course of 7-8 years. We can see that it is the emotional events that make the difference. When we ask students to interact with the world outside school or university, this triggers developed competencies. They increase their self-efficacy, initiative taking, marketing skills. When we ask them to create value for others, they increase their passion, motivation, but they also gain more subject matter knowledge, and they can even gain an identity from this. When we ask them to work in teams, they increase their self-insight. When we ask them to apply new knowledge in practice, they increase their subject matter knowledge. When we expose them to uncertainty in the learning environment, they increase their uncertainty tolerance, which is a very important skill in life in general. They increase their perseverance. And when we let them get feedback and support from people outside school or university, they increase their passion, their motivation, and also their self-efficacy. I could actually succeed in this. I want this to work. I want to be more like this. This was fun, etc., etc. These are stylized quotes, but these are things that we have heard from people that we have been studying year after year after year. They remember better, they understand more in depth, and they become more resilient. So these are effects that we really are interested in to get in education. So how do we do this? Well, I'm going to pause there for a minute, and I'm going to check my chat here and see if we have some questions. No, we've just gotten started. Thanks for the encouragement here. Amazing style.
Yes.
Somebody wrote. Thank you for that.
Dr.
So, anyone wants to comment or reflect?
Any point which you want him to talk more, but he will be talking more on value creation and on social entrepreneurship. But if there's any comment, you can please. So once again.
Yes, I have a comment here from Mohammed Wise. Education is very important, but current system seems not very powerful, looks very weak. And I personally, I mean, of course, the education system we have works for some. You could even say that it works for many, if we think that maybe 50% is many. But there are thousands of people or tens of thousands, or I mean, in Pakistan, when you have so many people, maybe it's even millions of people. The education system we have does not work for many of these people, for millions of people. And we should not sit back and be happy. Well, not happy, but not do something about that. we have a responsibility to act upon this, I think. We as adults, if we even work in the system, we have an even more important responsibility for this. And what I've been doing in my research is to develop very tangible, concrete ways that we can change the education system. So maybe we could have said before that, oh, we didn't know what to say, what to change and how to change. But now we actually have a number of things that work, and now it's up to humanity to pick these things up and implement them. And they will see the same effects that we have seen in many other places that this has been tried out. So that is a good message. That is an opportunity, actually. What if we can change education into something better? Of course, it's not going to solve all the problems we have, but if we can improve the situation for, a few thousand people or a few million people, I don't know, that would be a good thing, I think. So let's continue. I would like to give you a bit of a perspective on why this comes from entrepreneurship of all places. How can entrepreneurship be relevant to the entire education system? How does that work? So then I first have to introduce to you the broad and the narrow version of entrepreneurial pedagogy. I am myself a teacher in entrepreneurship of the narrow kind, because my students, they start businesses. I'm their last teacher before they go into working life, and I teach them how to start and run a company, because I've been doing that for my whole life. Running companies is what I've basically been doing, apart from doing research and teaching them. And the broad version is not about becoming an entrepreneur, but becoming entrepreneurial. So where I work at Chalmers, I work at a full venture creation program where it's quite an extreme type of education, where we couple students with high potent technologies, and we say to them, run, and they start high growth ventures. And then we have the mini venture creation pedagogy approach. We have junior achievement, we have young enterprise. You probably have a number of actors in Pakistan who let young people aged maybe 15 to 16, 17 to try out a small company for maybe half a year or something. And that can be an interesting experience. But what do we do on the broad side here? Well, we can, of course, do what I call idea pedagogy or artifact creation pedagogy. We can have idea generation, creativity exercises, business planning, prototyping, pitching. But my focus has been on this middle factor here, value creation pedagogy, to transform students into givers, where they can try to create or even co-create value for other people. So I have a more potent version of the broad definition of being entrepreneurial. So if we look at how is this entrepreneurship, when to the right side, we have entrepreneurship as being about starting new organizations. To the left side here, we could maybe see, oh, it's about acting upon new opportunities. So, and then we, of course, have learning about entrepreneurship. This is traditional pedagogy. We lecture our students about, what is entrepreneurship and what do entrepreneurs do? Why do we need them in society, etc. We could ask them to listen to a guest lecturer, an entrepreneur. We could ask them to go for a study visit. We can ask them to read literature, etc. So this is the whole spectrum of entrepreneurial pedagogy, broad and narrow and traditional versions of it. So we have these two definitions: entrepreneurship as organization creation, entrepreneurship as opportunity identification or opportunity creation. But entrepreneurship is a more multifaceted phenomenon than this might make you believe, because we have entrepreneurship as innovation, the old Schumpeter version of entrepreneurship. We have entrepreneurship as traits of successful entrepreneurs, but we also have entrepreneurship as new value creation. This is not my idea. It was a French researcher back in the 90s who came up with this work. He did his PhD on this. We have entrepreneurship as a set of learned competencies. This came in the early 2000s. We have entrepreneurship as a set of prescriptive entrepreneurial methods. I have a colleague, Yashar Mansouri, who has been doing research on this. We have, of course, effectuation, we have lean startup, we have a number of different entrepreneurial methods, which are pretty recent. I mean, Sarah Saraswati, who came up with effectuation, did so. I think it's about, is it 15 to 25 years ago, or it started to spread maybe 15 years ago, more broadly. She published very much in the first 10 years of the 21st century, and then it started spreading from there. But I would say this: new value creation is the most promising definition of entrepreneurship for educators who are not teaching business. Also, I think a set of learned competencies is a very useful and promising definition for teachers. And the methods are also useful and promising. The others, I would say, are maybe not so useful for teachers who are not into business. So my work has been drawing on quite a different type of definitional foundation than the usual suspects, you could say, in entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship has for a long time been about, successful entrepreneurs, creating new organizations, acting on opportunities, growing in innovation. Not so useful for teachers more broadly, because these perspectives are fuzzy, they are complex, and they are also biased towards masculine, heroic stereotypes. And that is not so useful when we work with students of all ages, all genders, and from all different disciplines. We cannot put Elon Musk on a pedestal, because that's not going to be so interesting for most people, actually. And nowadays, Elon Musk is not a good example for many other reasons, but he used to be a person that people actually thought was a cool guy, let's see if I can play some music for you. Let's see, I have to stop sharing. I have this song that I think is nice. Yeah, here it comes. Let's see. The damage done. So this is one of my favorite artists, Neil Young. He sang this song about the damage done, and I picked up on that. So I wrote an article. Imagine there's no competitions, which actually draws on another song by John Lennon. Imagine. So I tried to connect my research to some songs, and the connection to Neil Young is this. What if we make young people think that entrepreneurship is not for them? What if these stereotypic views of entrepreneurship end up them saying to themselves, oh, entrepreneurship, being entrepreneurial is not for me. And then I use this song and I basically sing, oh, the damage done. When youths are made to believe that entrepreneurship is all about winning, competing, making money, and becoming a lone brave hero with great business ideas. I don't think this is so useful for most students. And you can find it on my blog, actually. Yeah, vcplist.com. I try to say that maybe we should go from having a mainly me focus in entrepreneurship on competing, venture creation, idea-centric, transactional, heroism and exclusive club, to also think about entrepreneurship as a cooperative endeavor, as focused on creating value for others, as action-centric, as relational, as being about pro-social teamwork and being about inclusive treatment. Let all students get a chance to develop their entrepreneurial abilities. That's basically what I try to convey here. And I mean, what most people tell teachers to do in entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial pedagogy is to let them be part of a competition, create a venture, have their own idea, and do some challenges or simulations, and also listen to guests and celebrities, and maybe then admit some of the most engaged students in some elite program, like the one I work at as a teacher myself. And of course, we need programs for those who are very interested in entrepreneurship, but it's even more important to have a treatment that works for everyone, that makes them more engaged in what they do. Let's see here, where are we? Yeah, I have a number of slides here. So I would like to jump a little bit I have this slider basically to say that we teachers, we can choose our desired mix of self-oriented versus others-oriented focus. So do we want to focus on students that do well, self-oriented happiness, money-making, self-confidence, joy of winning, or do we want students that do good, others-oriented meaningfulness, or do we want to be somewhere in between? Maybe we want to have a balanced mix here between these two different perspectives. So it's not about going from one to the other. It's about getting a balance between different perspectives. And so I call this the bridge of broken dreams. We have enterprise education, the broad version of entrepreneurship. It's broad but fuzzy. It has been largely ineffective. We have the narrow version of entrepreneurship education. It's ineffective but actually quite marginal, and it's only for business students. So what I try to do here is that we insert a bridge here, value creation pedagogy. For some students, we could offer them full venture creation pedagogy, and it can actually also be a way to commercialize technology and other things that come from the universities. I am a teacher at the program like that. And then we also need traditional about pedagogy because they need to get to this bridge one way or another. If they haven't even heard about stuff, why would they even, join? Why would they even go up on the bridge? So all these different perspectives are needed for different purposes. But we don't want this broken bridge. We want it to be complete. We want this to be a progressive experience for people where they can go from learning, a pure focus on learning, to a pure focus on value creation. That's what we want this to be. And I've been building this progression model for 15 years now, and we have a number of different things we can do. When we go from left to right, the complexity increases. I am a teacher at a very high complex program. It's so complex we almost cannot even run it. But the impact is very high, but the applicability is very narrow. So my favorite, personally, and what I've been focusing my research on, is this middle ground, the value creation pedagogy approach, where we have medium complexity, we have medium high impact, and we have very broad, or at least broad applicability. This can be done for everyone in the education system.
Very good.
So the way I see it here is that when we have an entire focus on learning and not so much on creating value for others, we are in the education system. When we focus totally on creating value for others, such as customers, but we don't have so much focus on learning for ourselves, we are in working life. And when we have a balanced situation between our own learning and value creation for others, that is what I call being entrepreneurial. When we manage to reach this balance, we are entrepreneurial. And I call this a better work-learn balance. So it's not a work-life balance, that's also important, but this is a balance between work and learn. And let me show you what that means. When people have this balance, a good balance between our own learning and creating value for others, we often feel a higher sense of meaning and purpose in life. So we become more motivated, more engaged, we become more diligent in what we do. And that is good news for society because then we get higher quality, we get efficiency, we get deeper learning, and we get new solutions that do a better job. So I started out looking at this for students, and I could see very strong effects on students. But then I went on to study teachers, and it seems that teachers also can benefit from this. Employees can benefit from it. I wrote an article about entrepreneurial employees. So entire organizations can be better at developing society if they apply this work-learn balance principle. Maybe it works on countries even. I don't know. I haven't tried it, products, services, policymaking. I think it's a deeply human thing that we came across here. So I wrote an article about this back in 2023, work-learn balance, a new concept that could help bridge the divide between education and working life. It is one of the least cited papers so far, but hopefully I'm ahead of myself. So maybe over time people will find this paper. But if you ask me, it's my favorite paper of the stuff I've been writing so far. In education, we often have imbalance. It's all about learning and no value creation for others. And then comes somebody saying, oh, this work thing here, it's so unacademic. Let's kick it away. We should focus only on learning. That's the academic mission. And then if we are in working life, there it's all work and no learning. And if there is some learning happening, then some boss comes and says, oh, who can we invoice for our learning? No one. Let's kick it away because we need to focus on work. We need to get paid as much as possible. And I think that is a mistake. And I've been trying to rebalance this in different ways. So on the work side, I've written about entrepreneurial employees who create new value for others through hopefully scientific learning or at least structured learning. I wrote this book, The Scientific Teacher, and this autumn I've been very busy writing a book that's called The Scientific Employee to make it even more broadly applicable. And then on the left side, we have value creation pedagogy. This is the balancing for students, learning through creating value for others now. And I wrote a book about that too, The Value Creating Student, which you can see on my blog. Both of these books are available there in English. They were written in Swedish, but I translated them with some help from AI. So it's not maybe the best translation, but it's out there and you can read them. So this becomes like the most general picture of entrepreneurial education, where we go from this broad version of enterprise education to the narrow version of entrepreneurship education. Creation, value creation, venture creation, sustainable venture development, and then we have competencies and methods. And these correspond largely to many of these or all of these different definitions of entrepreneurship that you've seen. So they are present there. Actually, I think I will stop there for a while because now it's 40 minutes past and I've been talking and talking and talking.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's take some questions and reflections. What do you say, Shahid, so far?
Yeah. Once again, Professor, you see, Ali Junaid was referring to your model a few days ago. Education and entrepreneurship education. So today, I think it is more relevant in the Pakistani case that we have to be more on enterprise education, where most of the professors here are on this side. So, if there is any question and comment, and as Professor Martin is saying that, so what are those major competencies which we need to work on enterprise education? This can be a question.
Yeah, so I've been
teach, which any professor in chemistry, sociology, who have no MBA and no business knowledge can teach, yes, or they can engage.
Yeah. So I think that there has been a lot of emphasis on competencies, and this was one of the pictures that I didn't show now, so I'll return to that one. In Europe, we have this model of entrepreneurial competencies. It looks like this. Maybe some of you have seen it. It's about idea and opportunity-based competencies, spotting opportunities, creativity, vision, valuing ideas, ethical, sustainable thinking. Then we have resource-based competencies, mobilizing others, financial literacy, mobilizing resources, being motivated, self-awareness and self-efficacy, etc. And then we have the action competencies, taking initiative, planning, coping with ambiguity, uncertainty, and risk. I saw the question about risk before, working with others and learning through experience. So this model can be used to basically talk about what do we want to achieve when we do entrepreneurial pedagogy. But I don't know if it's enough, because my my full version of the reasons, it looks a bit different. It looks more like this. Why should we have entrepreneurial pedagogy? And then I would maybe put the competencies up here on the individual level. Students can develop a number of entrepreneurial competencies such as self-confidence, creativity, perseverance, etc. I think the more interesting effect is that we get motivated students who are committed to learn, that we get them to learn subject knowledge much deeper. And then also on a class level, school level, or society at large, we have a number of interesting effects that I think are maybe more important or even more important than the entrepreneurial competencies. We teach the students to take responsibility, to show kindness to each other. We make learning feel more meaningful. We get a more varied teaching that reaches more students who can then thrive better. They gain faith for the future. They can find their place in society. They get educated. Like there is this word Bildung, a German concept, a very broad definition of what it means to be educated. And they can learn how knowledge can make a difference in society. And this is a way to raise democratic and ethical citizens who feel that they can be part of society and contribute to it. And I mean, I've often felt that while these competences are good and maybe even interesting, many teachers are not so interested in them.
Okay.
This is not this is not a good enough reason for many, or I would even go as far as to say for most teachers, this is not interesting enough to engage in entrepreneurial pedagogy. Some people might disagree, but fine. And if they find these competencies interesting enough and then they engage, great. But I have had to develop other arguments, other reasons, other effects that are more interesting to teachers who are not into business and entrepreneurship.
Great. We have some comments coming in.
Yeah.
Sadia is a professor of English at IGF University, and she wonders, I like her teaching style. She takes Professor Sadia, can you share what you do? And then Professor Martin will comment on that. Ma'am Sadia, can you comment? She teaches English in such a way to make people, she teaches, Sadia, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. Basically, I like your ideas and I like basically your style of teaching and communicating your message. Sharing the knowledge with others and taking it from me to us would be a great idea to add value to entrepreneurial mindset, basically. So that is wonderful task, and we should, I think, follow this strategy of going from me to us. Thank you.
Great.
Good to hear. Thank you.
He teaches novels of English in such a way in that those stories are like living on an island, how to cook, how to do plantation, how to purify water. So she's teaching English. She's teaching entrepreneurial mindset through stories of adventure. So this is her way of doing things. Great. Next, Dr. Noshin from Karachi. Dr. Noshin, can you read that, please, Martin?
Yes. So I am a non-business student, and I think that entrepreneurship is the unlearning of the factory system mindset rooted in standardization and compliance, and the relearning of creativity, adaptability, and innovation as tools for value creation. And I totally agree. Maybe we could say that we should not stop. I mean, there is value in traditional values too. So I think that there is, for example, Ken Robinson was a famous person who said that we should go from something to something. I would maybe rather say that we should keep some of the parts in the current education system. We should add, not throw out stuff that are actually good. So I am also a believer in certain parts of the traditional pedagogy. We should not stop lecturing. We should modify our approach so we have a good balance between different perspectives. I have a picture on this. I can show it to you.
Yes.
This is the picture, and let me see here. it goes a bit like this. The question to you becomes, so if we think about learning through creating value for others, where would we place that on this? This is the philosophical playing field of education, I call it. We have classroom education down here, compulsory attendance in classroom or lecture hall, easy to assess and organize. We have traditional education, lectures, books, basic knowledge, tests, empirically proven. We have progressive education, teamwork, problem solving, social learning, interest-based coaching. And then we have experiential education, immersion in real-life communities, learning from practice, emotional exposure. And initially I thought I was going to place myself up in the right corner here. But I came to realize at some point that no, we start down here in the classroom. For whom is this knowledge useful today? And then we take a turn left, learning through using knowledge. In order to use knowledge, we have to have knowledge or get knowledge through lectures, books, basic knowledge, test, empirically proven. Then we go to the right to create something. Then we go up of value to others. And then we go down to the classroom again. It's actually quite good to have a classroom where everybody can, gather. We can see that everyone is present. And then we can ask ourselves, for whom was this knowledge useful today?
Okay.
So that is the addition I would like to do. So I agree almost completely. And then I add some notes because I like music, and I think this is a dance. We need to be over the whole playing field of education, but we cannot be everywhere at the same time. We have to move, and then we have to move according to a rhythm or music, and that is what this research can provide. It can provide a rhythm to which we move across this playing field.
Wonderful. Very good articulation, please. So we have another comment.
Yeah.
That is Doctor. That we have. Yeah, this is Noman Khan.
Let's see. Yes.
NK. As a student.
Yeah.
Yeah. You found it?
Yeah, as a student of 12th grade, I'm really interested in businesses and so on. But as I usually hear, that studying business is not useful, but doing it is better. So my question, should I study business or study something else and do business alongside? That's a very good question. I would say doing business is a very practical profession. I've had it for my whole life. But I'm also a teacher in this for my students, and I would say their chances increase as an effect of them following business education.
Okay.
So it's not a linear correlation. You can succeed also without business education, but I think that your chances would increase with business education because there are certain things that would be very expensive to learn in real life that you can actually learn much more quickly and much more efficiently through, for example, lectures or exercises or reading good literature. And then you can go out and try for yourself, and you will quicker end up in a way of managing difficult questions in a way that makes you successful with your business. That would be my thinking around that.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. The next question is, what are the key ingredients of value exploration?
Value creation within the curriculum. So at the university, so maybe I should go to. I mean, I have a definition of this concept. We could have a look at it.
Yes, please.
So value creation pedagogy is defined. I mean, first, it took me 4 years, I think, to come up with 4 words. That's how quick we work with research. Learning through creating value. And then everybody thought I was meaning learning through creating value for yourself. So then I spent 2 more years to come up with 2 more words for others. So after 6 years, I could defend my PhD thesis with this concept of learning through creating value for others. But there is a longer version of this, and it goes like this. Let students learn by applying their knowledge and skills to try to create something of value to at least one external stakeholder outside their group, class, or school. So this is a slightly longer version of this. This is how we define value creation pedagogy. And so it's still about learning knowledge and skills. So we haven't changed the mission of the education system into value creation. Creating value for others is just a means to reach the same goal that we've had in education ever since it was started. It's a creative exercise. We try to create something. It could be intellectual, it could be physical stuff. It's the try that counts. Students don't have to succeed in order for this to work. They just have to feel that they might be able to create value for others. That's when you get the effect of this way of working. It's important to have an external stakeholder because without an external stakeholder, they cannot get feedback. You want them to get feedback from someone other than teacher. That is the whole, foundational principle here. And we could compare it to entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur without customers. What do we think about such an entrepreneur? Not so valuable or interesting, right? So the entrepreneurship is the practice of creating value for customers. It's the same principle here. So when we integrate value creation into our pedagogical approach, we have to let our students interact with an external person, stakeholder. It could be an animal, it could be, it could be plants, it could be the planet. It has to be someone or something that can give feedback back to the student. It can be done outside their own group, but within the class. It can be done outside their class, but within the school or university. Or it could be done outside their school or university. And this is a bit of a progression model. I often tell teachers, why don't you get started? Create some value within the class. That's a great way to get a feel for it. And then you can start creating value outside their class, but within the school or university. And then in the third step, you go outside the school or university. And that's when you get the strongest impact. But it also means that it is the most complex thing to do for you as a teacher. And then we have the word value. What is value? And I did a model for that, which it looks a bit like this. So it has it's a 5 times 2 model. So we have 2 perspectives, value for oneself, value for others. And then we have 5 different perspectives on that. We can create economic value for ourselves, which would be the usual thing to think about in entrepreneurship. I try to tell people they should try to start somewhere else. Let students create value for others. Let students create social value, enjoyment value, influence value, harmony value, ecological value, any type of value. Starting with the economic value, I think is maybe not what I would recommend to most teachers. Still, it's probably where people would start in most cases, and I think it's a mistake to start in the economic value domain. Because there are easier and more effective ways to work with value creation in education.
Sir, why is that economic value? Because in daily life we see that it's very important to us, but you mentioned that it's just like very at the end.
Yes, but economic value has a tendency to take over our lives. But we get motivated from creating social value for others. It's actually it's easier to manage in an educational situation. Enjoyment value is easy to do on a small scale. You can just go out in the street and get somebody to smile, Doesn't cost anything. They don't have to pay anything. You can get started right away. You can do it immediately. So I think it's a little bit about to make this manageable in an educational setting. Involving money makes things much more complicated, and complexity is difficult for teaching, for teachers to manage because they have a job that they have to manage already. they have to fulfill all the challenges and requirements that are put upon them today. You cannot just add and add on them. So, I mean, there are many. We can reason around this. I'm not saying that you should
Sir,
not work with economic.
in terms of
Yeah.
teaching, it's not good. But in terms of just like real life, it's the first priority to go on. What do you think, sir?
I mean, yeah, it's a good question. I think economic value has a tendency to take over also our lives. But I mean, I'm in a country. Sweden is a very well-off country, so it's easy for me to say. When you are in a tougher spot, maybe you don't have. I mean, there is this thing about opportunity entrepreneurship versus necessity entrepreneurship. Many people don't have a choice here. They cannot go around and get people to smile. They have to make a living, of course. So this could be the answer could be different depending on what
I
culture you
think
are
it
embedded
depends
in.
upon your priorities.
Priorities?
I mean, it depends on the people priorities, what they choose basically. If they are economically not well, so definitely they will be looking for economic benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
think for the country like Pakistan, enjoyment value plus economic value, both should be mixed. Like
yeah,
that would be much
and
more suitable for Pakistan.
yeah, and in reality, this is what happens. I mean, this is a neat model, but it's a simplification. In reality, these are mixed and interchanged, and you create value for others, and then you get value back for yourself, or you start thinking about what's in it for me, and then you have to create value for others in order to get what you want, etc. So this is. I mean, reality is much more complex than this little model might make us believe. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
But the good point which Martin is talking about is nobody had talked about this. We were always talking about economic. So this is saying that look for others, work for others.
Yeah.
This is very much in line with our religious values, which in Christianity and Muslim and Judaism. So that is something great which I found in Martin. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Martin. Yes.
And can you guess which one we have seen to have the strongest effects on young students?
So my point is that you see in our university, when we talk more about economic value, 80-90% people fail. But when we talk about social value, harmony value, they start doing small things. The small things are so easy to do, as you said, to smile, to say good morning, grandma, and taking care of your cat, your dog, your neighbor. These smaller things are so engaging. And what we have experimented at Gift University is when they use these things, social and enjoyment, then gradually economic value starts coming in itself.
Yeah, yeah. There is this quote that I like. I don't know how applicable it is to ordinary people, but if you want to make $1 million, help 1 million people.
Oh, help 1 million people. So
Where do you focus? I mean, maybe it's easy for me to say, but I still think that it has a message. So what we have seen. So I should reveal which one is seems to motivate students the most, and that is the influence value actually. To make a difference for other people. That can motivate young people substantially, because if they see in the face of other people, I influenced you.
I'm important.
I'm important. I did something that was important to you. That means that I'm important too. So this is a very, very strong effect. We can use it to empower our teaching, influence value. So that would be it's maybe an unexpected category. I mean, I've written an article about this. What is value? You can download it. I think it's available open access, where I go much more in depth on this. I have a much more complex model in that article, but it still it has these 5 categories. So yeah, have a look at it if you want.
So there are a few more points, so you can apply as much you like. You're free to do what you want. Otherwise, many people have commented. So depending upon
Yeah. Let's see. Curriculum. I mean, we could. there is this question: is value creation education so simple for all students? Can all students meet or understand this concept? I think that's a good question. What I normally hear is that when teachers bring this up with students for the first time, and I have a framework in chapter 6 of my book on the value creating student. I have some exercises you can run with your students, and normally what I hear is that when they get the first, there is this question you can ask your students: for whom could this knowledge be valuable today? If you ask this question to students, they will initially be very confused. First, they maybe will not understand the question. They will, what do you mean, etc. But after a while, if you give them some time, maybe a week, give them a week to think about it, some beautiful things happen. So I think we have to introduce value creation for others as a concept to our students. But once they are used to it, they cannot stop thinking about it. I have a slide about this. I have to show you. This is one of my favorite animations, actually. Where is it? Here is it. So yeah, it goes a bit like this. You drop a drip of color or two into the water. That is what we do when we add value creation into our teaching. We don't have to change a lot. We just add a drip or two of color, and the entire glass will change the color of the water, and students will start asking themselves and their teacher, for whom can we do this? Whatever we are doing in our teaching currently, you will get questions from your students asking, for whom can we do this? What this means is that when you introduce value creation pedagogy into your teaching, bit by bit, small bits, something changes, the culture changes. And I even have a quote from, let's see, where is that? Or maybe I didn't have that in this version. I have this quote. Yeah, here it is. This is a quote from a teacher who basically said, "Don't transform your teaching, tweak it. How can I add a grain of interaction with external people by doing minor tweaks to my existing student assignments?" And then comes the second question: how can the energy my students already spend in school or university create some value for external people by me as a teacher doing minor tweaks to my existing student assignments? And this will then lead to a culture of students asking upfront, for whom can we do this? This is how you transform. Well, you don't transform it initially, but over time it will actually transform because the culture will change. And I have two questions that you can ask yourself if you are a teacher. You can ask yourself two questions, because sometimes people might then ask themselves, am I doing value creation pedagogy already? The first question is this: are my students expected to interact with someone outside their own group, teacher, class, or school or university? Yes or no? If you answer yes to this question, you're halfway there, because then comes another question. Are my students expected to try to create something of value for someone outside their own group, teacher, class, or school or university? Yes or no? So if you answer yes to both of these questions, they are being invited to interact with external, they are invited to try to create value for them, then it's a case of value creation pedagogy. But sometimes they are being invited to create value for others without being invited to interact with them. And sometimes we invite our students to interact with external people, but they are not allowed to, or they are not invited to create something of value to them. A guest lecture, for example, allows for interaction, but not value creation. If you try to collect money for something and then give them away for charity or something, you are doing value creation, but you are not doing interaction. You don't meet the people you help. You just send some money. So there are examples where one, but not the other of these two questions is answered. So yeah, that was a long answer to that question. Is it so simple? Can all students meet or understand this concept? But I think there are ways to do this in any type of teaching that you might be working with. So, Shahid, where are we time-wise? Are people are still here?
Time-wise, we are done. but maybe
People
great.
didn't leave.
Yeah, people are still there. We have 67 people listening to you. And so Mamuna is saying, thank you, Martin, for strengthening me, my idea of developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And she's thanking you a lot. She says that she'll be using literature, novels, poetry. Wow. And another person says that there is a person who can't. Sai Shoro, are you there? There's a gentleman in this class who can't understand what you're speaking, but he's there to see you. Sai Shoro, are you there? Sai Shoro, aap ho? He can't. He has buffaloes. He has cattle. Sai Shoro ho?
जी सर
Camera on
जी
karo.
जी सर
Camera on. He can't understand, but can you open your camera, Sai Shoro? Sai Shoro is a person who has a cattle farm. Cattle farm. Where are you, Sai Shoro? Kidhar ho bhai? And you see, he's there to. He's just there to see you actually.
Nice.
Yeah, this one. Sai Shoro, can
तस्वीर आ रही है सर तस्वीर
it's dark. It's dark.
जी
It is dark. अंधेरा है भाई अंधेरा है. Now this is his cattle farm. This is his cattle farm, and you can see his sheep and goat, and he has taken up an entrepreneurship course.
Nice.
Great. So that was Hira. Hira is a woman entrepreneur from Islamabad. Indeed. Great. There's another question.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum Assalam. Hira is she's
आ रही
a.
है
Okay, so these are very interesting people. You see, that is, I don't know where do they get energy from. They're here. He said, if I don't understand, I'm going to listen and see this, and out of this, they learn something. He had
Wonderful.
like 20 goats and buffaloes, and this lady
Fantastic.
Hira is from Islamabad. She has used the basement of our house, and she makes furniture. She's a mother, and she does furniture business. And we have one more. There was last comment, and then we'll finish. How will AI and automation transform the future of entrepreneurship? Any insights, Martin?
Oh, that's a big question. I'm not really an expert. I mean, everybody's an expert on AI these days, but I'm not. I use it a lot myself, but how it will, I don't have a clue. Well, it will make it easier, perhaps. I mean, it's a very useful tool for ideation and stuff. I use it when I write. I let it read my text and see if it likes it or not. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, it's a good question. Difficult.
Luqman, Professor Luqman, Luqman is a student of Dr. Ali Junaid, and he was quoting you a lot. For 15 minutes, he talked about your model. Luqman, are you there? He's from Indonesia, and he's using your literature as well in his PhD. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lady Hira, and so many people. Naqib has last question. Dr. Naqib, quick one, quick. He's a professor of psychology. Naqib? So I think he's not picking up. So once again,
Am I audible?
yes.
The way Dr. Qureshi introduced you, you seems an interesting personality, sir.
Thank you.
Could you kindly explain how can value creation pedagogy transform traditional universities, and what practical steps should institution take?
Oh,
yeah, good question. I will link. I will put a link in the chat.
Okay.
For an article that is my most recent article. It doesn't fully answer that question, but it gives some ideas on this. And I mean, and I'm currently writing a book about this as well. It's about changemaker pedagogy, we call it in that book. I think it could transform the university into providing more meaning for the students while they are at our education institutions. And that can be in itself create a lot of, we can get more out of the resources we put in. It becomes more meaningful for everyone, and maybe we don't lose as many on the way if we have this approach to education. So a better work. I mean, everything I do it for students. If I'm asking myself I'm going to do something, I ask myself, does it become better for students of all ages, from preschool, primary school, secondary school, higher education? Does this improve their situation? And I think that value creation pedagogy improves their situation in many ways. They learn more, they enjoy it more, they can become more successful in life, in working life, and maybe in life in general as well.
Wonderful.
And then it benefits society. Because we are societies. Fundamentally, we are not individuals only. We are also societies together, and so we get stronger societies. That is what I think is in the pot here, and that is what is at stake. And how to do it? That's a very good question, and I mean, I developed a whole methodology for managing the change process. So value creation pedagogy is my pedagogical research, but I actually spend more time on doing methodology. I mean, I've told Shade quite a lot about this. I have a tool I use when working with change processes. And I think that's a whole different chapter. We could spend another hour talking about that.
Whoa.
We don't have that time today, but read my
Last
other book
question.
would yeah.
The last question for the
Okay,
lady, the
thank you,
last
sir.
one. Hira, quick question, ma'am, please. Hira is one of our faculty student, and she's a mother and doing furniture work in Islamabad. Hira, please, quick one, please. And there are so many people writing thank you to you. So people keep on writing thank you and give a Hira, are you there? Maybe her camera sound is not working. So Hira, quick.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask, do you think solopreneurship, having a person on their desk working by themselves, using AI as their tool, and trying to create value for others, do you see that that kind of a business growing larger?
It will scale up because without making too much money orientation. And this is her question, that people sometimes abuse them. They are simple, naive people, and people are real life. They make, yes.
I mean, will we be able to create more value in the future for each other when we get better tools at our disposal? I think the general answer is probably yes. But it will, of course, change how value is created. It can transform who, because I speak a lot about value creation, but then we also have value appropriation, which is kind of how you take value and make it yours. And I mean, how you basically how you can become rich or whatever. I haven't focused so much on that because maybe I'm not so interested in those aspects. So I don't know. Maybe some people will be more successful financially, but maybe more people will be able to help others, and then maybe then we will get a better society. I don't know. Maybe that could be an effect. I would be surprised if it doesn't have that effect, but it could at the same time, of course, redistribute value in society through different ways of appropriating value.
Great.
And some people will always, find a way to take more. But I'm more into giving and
And I
helping people to learn how to do that.
My dear friends and participants, I would like to tell you that what Martin is talking about is not a typical European person. He is an outlier in this. Is it? He is something very, the value concept and what he's talking about is very, very unique. Is it, Martin? There are very less people about talking about this, which he's talking. And his journey, when I listened to him on the island, and I was taken away that mashallah, this can only be done with a high spiritual orientation and serving others and creating value for others. And Dr. Abdurrahman Sahab, Tariq, and Dr. Aisha Siddiqa Gomal, this is Nasrullah Sahab, ये अल्लाह का वली है, ये जो बातें कर रहे हैं ये आम आदमी नहीं बात कर सकता यूरोप में. This is not an ordinary talk which he's talking. This is not
Yes, yes,
an
of
ordinary
course,
talk.
of course, of
He-
course.
this is not an ordinary talk with Martin is talking, and this is what our national poet Iqbal. Martin, when I refer to you, when our national poet Iqbal said, "Diyar Maghrib ke rehne walo, Khuda ki basti dukaan nahi hai." He did his PhD from Heidelberg in Germany, and he said, "Oh, people of the West, human beings are not a commodity. Do not consider people a commodity for transaction. Add value, develop society." This is exactly what you are saying, actually. And that is miraculous that this idea has come to you, and you are giving us hope and love, importance of human beings. Wonderful.
Thank you, Shahid. Yeah, we talked about Iqbal on the island. Yeah.
Yeah, so he promised me that he will read Allama Iqbal, and I hope we will send him some more things. So once again, Martin, thank you. I hope your wife is fine. Your two kids are fine. And I was
Thank
at
you
the
very much.
graduation conference, and I wish we could have met again. But we were looking forward to have you in Pakistan, and let's see
Yeah.
when it happens. For
Hope it will happen. Yeah.
3, 4, 5 days can be an easy thing, man. 2, 3 days. It's not that far now, but
No.
we'll find out. So we pray, oh God, bless Martin, and bring
Thank you
him to
so much.
Pakistan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and see you again. Shukriya. Shukriya is in Pakistani language. Shukriya. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Look at.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.